This is the Tornado Trackers podcast. The Tornado Trackers are storm chasers Jeremy Heyman, Jeff Mangum, and me, Gabe Cox.
Hey, I'm Jeremy.
Oh, we need more energy than that.
More?
We're coming back strong.
That felt strong.
No, retake. We're going to take it.
Okay. Hey, I'm Jeremy.
I'm Gabe.
And I'm Jeff.
And this is the Tornado Trackers podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today, or whatever day it is, wherever you are right now. And if you've been listening along in real time with us, you may have noticed that we've had a little bit of an absence. A lot of you have written us, and we really appreciate those emails. It really helps us to know that y'all like what we're doing and appreciate it. And but we've had some different things in our lives kind of get in the way of easily podcast recording, and so we thought we'd just chat a little bit about that today. We love, or have loved, getting to share our lives with all of y'all out there. And so, yeah, we want to give a little update. And if you're not listening in real time, I promise you there'll be some storm chase talk as well in this podcast. You may want to fast forward, do whatever you need to do. But yeah, up top, we'll talk a little bit about where we've been, and then we'll talk about a couple recent Central Texas tornado chases that Gabe and Jeff were on that were pretty wild rides. So fellas, Gabe, if you want to kick us off, what has life been like for you over the last few months?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to say it feels really good to be back behind this mic again. It's been way too long and I've missed this a lot. So glad to be back with you fellas. This feels good.
Yeah.
Samesies.
Yeah, I've had, just a crazy, really all of winter. That's why we have had 0 podcast episodes throughout the winter. Lots of things going on. The big thing was, I only feel like it's fair to share this because we've had so many people reaching out and people genuinely concerned about us, which has meant a lot. And also because we've had our own guests open up about really personal things. And so I feel like I owe the podcast world the same. It was a really tough winter. I lost my oldest sister to breast cancer this past winter. And it was really the months leading up to it that I told the guys, I was like, hey, I gotta step back. I gotta take some time. My mind's really not in it. And yeah, it was a really difficult time. My family's all in Maine and I live in Texas. So it was even more hard to be far away. But I was able to make some flights to Maine. I was able to visit with my sister before she passed away and really had some really special and sweet time with her and with my family. It was really, overall, a really beautifully tragic thing, just to see the way that my family came together and community rallied around us, and even people in the storm chasing world, people who I've never even met, calling me and checking in, leaving me voicemails and text messages. So felt a lot of love this past winter, a lot of heartache, but it's time to move forward with the podcast, I felt like. And honestly, it's what my sister would want. She was one of our biggest fans. She listened to all our episodes. So it feels right to continue on with it and to keep pressing on in this crazy storm chasing journey, because she was one of my biggest cheerleaders. So yeah, so that's what's been going on with me. And I know it's a super downer at the beginning of the show, but that was life for me in the past several months. And Jeff and Jeremy were so great. You guys were so great about being supportive. When I first reached out and said, hey, I think I need to step back, you guys had zero hesitation, encouraged me and kept checking in. And so I appreciate you guys through all of that. Yeah,
well, we love you to death, man. And just, I think just hearing, I don't know, just a little bit about your sister, what did she mean to you early on in your kind of desire to think and dream about storm chasing and just adventure in general?
Yeah, I mean, she played a really pivotal role, actually. In high school, for my 16th birthday, she stole me away from my computer screen and brought me to Mount Washington in New Hampshire to hike up and down. And I hadn't done anything like that before. I had done some camping, grew up in Maine, had done some camping, but I'd never hiked Mount Washington before. And it's a sizable mountain. And it was one of the best trips I've ever taken. I mean, it's just one of the best memories I have of her and her husband and I climbing up this mountain. And really, I think that kind of awakened my passion for nature. I was obsessed with the sky already, but this kind of swung open the door on my passion for nature and just appreciating the beauty around me. And she just, as an older sister who wanted to shake things up a little bit in my life, she really taught me to adventure well. So that definitely was a lesson I took with me into storm chasing. And she was always rooting me on in this crazy journey into an unorthodox career. She was a big fan of mine, and definitely will miss her tons, but carrying on those memories.
Mm-hmm. I love that, because I think one of the things that we all kind of connect with in this storm chasing, storm loving, storm intrigued kind of world that we're recording podcasts for. And I know we have a lot of people listening who have never seen a tornado and they don't love going out to see storms, but they're intrigued by it. Mm-hmm. But for those who do, there's always that one person at least that kind of just fosters that passion and lights the fire all the more. And I think we're just desperate for that. I think that's some of the reason we do the podcast, is because we're like burning each other's fires across the globe. Those who are like interested in science and interested in how the world works and how weather works. And so I just loved that your sister was so prominent for you in that. And I know that over time, your family has become the word is not supportive, because they are clearly supportive, but it's been really cool to watch how when we're on storm chases, your mom or your dad or someone will call and say, please check in with so-and-so because they're curious how you're doing. Make sure. And I just find that so wonderful that we have people that rally us and come around us. And your sister was one of that.
Yeah. And my whole family, really. So yeah, I've had an amazing support system, and you're right. It's so important for all of us to have that, to have those people. So
totally.
And that's cool. I feel like we get to do that for each other. That's why I love this podcast.
I agree.
Yeah, same, man. Thank you for sharing that. And I would imagine, there's people out there listening who, have their own stories of grief and who can relate, maybe not to the exact details, but to, the general nature of it, because the last few years have been, filled with grief for a lot of folks. So
for sure.
So if you're listening, we're with you. We're not with you physically, but our hearts go out to you. If you're experiencing grief right now, I know grief can stick with people for quite a long time. So even if you didn't have anything in the near term, if it happened a while ago, those things stay with us. So I'm glad to be with y'all today. So Jeff, how have you been, man? I know you've had some interesting stuff over the last few months. How are you doing, man? Where have you been?
Yeah, overall doing really well, but you're right. There was something really unique about that November, December, January timeframe for us. There was a lot of, obviously we're walking alongside Gabe and everything that was going on there. And I would say I've got 3 kids at this point of this podcast. I've got a 16-year-old daughter, almost 12-year-old son, and an almost 11-year-old daughter. So there's just a lot of different things going on now. It's different. Like when they're 4 or 5 or 6, you know how to manage the schedules, but now it's just a free for all, man. We got 5 people in this home and it is just, to get a calendar together is a joke. But, in early January, I ended up getting COVID, and I know that looks and sounds different for everybody. There's so many people that I'm jealous of where they got COVID and they were like it was like a small cold and, or allergies. That wasn't the case for me at all. I remember one afternoon I was at work and I could just feel the fever coming, that feeling when the sickness is coming, if you have the flu or whatever, and you just know there's no denying it. Yeah. There's nothing you can justify. You've used all your positive energy and it's gone and man, I'm screwed. And, I did. I came home. It was mid-January. I came home and took my temperature. I was at 101. And I just immediately at this point, especially a few months ago, it was, I bet it's COVID. So it got worse. It just got worse next 2 days and went to the doctor. Sure enough, I had COVID. My daughter had COVID. My son ended up getting COVID. My oldest daughter got COVID before us. So if one goes down, the whole family goes down. But man, I'll tell you, it did a number on me because I was in bed for almost 11 straight days. Oof. So that fever of 102, 103 did not let go of me until like day 7 or 8. And the cough, it's really interesting. Here we are at the time of this podcast. I know we don't always like to date that, but the time of this podcast is in mid to late April, and I still have this crazy cough that I'm like, am I ever going to get rid of it? And it gave me a sense of empathy for so many folks who've gone through this. And here I am, I'm a 45-year-old man who's relatively healthy. I work out sometimes enough to say I work out. I feel like I'm pretty healthy, but man, it just knocked me down. And if anyone's listening, like people know when you get sick for a few days, it messes with your head. When you're in bed for a week and then 2 weeks, you start questioning literally everything about why you are who you are. If you're going to be a good person, are you a good person? What's wrong with me? What is life? It's just amazing the things you start questioning and doubting, and storms weren't even on the horizon in my head at the time. It was just getting healthy. So, sure enough, I did come out of it, thankfully, and came very close to where I had a doctor's appointment where they were going to put me into the hospital and start doing some stuff for my chest because I wasn't recovering. But man, finally recovered and came out of it. So, not the end of the world, but it was certainly right in the middle of the season where we were all just juggling some of the worst things for Gabe, some difficult things in my life, and then for Jeremy, just working through life. Like it was an interesting season for us, and so
yeah, it was a lot. I remember Jeremy and I were both concerned for you once we saw that you weren't responding to any of our weather texts. We're like, oh man, this is serious.
Yeah, I don't think people need to understand that. We text at some point hundreds of texts a day. Like that is legitimate because it's weather, it's caring about each other, but weather related radar, imagery. And I didn't respond for a few days, and that's a sure sign something's going wrong.
Jeff's in a bad place right now.
Seriously. I mean, I felt like we were bugging you, dude. Just like we wanted to get updates, and you were obviously, so maybe we were bugging you,
I was asleep for like 5 days.
Yeah. We wanted to know. Yeah. Was the fever still there? Had it broken yet?
But hey, man, doing well now. We kind of come out of it, and I think we're all in this place where the spring is here, and it's a different season.
Totally. Yeah. And my life has been fairly typical, here in Colorado. It's hard being away from y'all when y'all are hurting. And, we got to see each other a few weeks ago, when we came down to Austin for a few days, which was really, wonderful, but
that was crazy.
It's not at the same degree of suffering that y'all were going through, but it is hard to be a friend, of people who are in pain. I spent a lot of mental and emotional energy thinking about you guys. And, but yeah, Colorado's been funky over the last few months. We've had a lot of fires here in the Front Range, nothing that's affected our family directly, but, some coworkers. And, we actually had there was like a 50-acre fire, like 4 or 5 miles from my house yesterday, which it's just, again, I'm not directly affected, but there's just some worrying and things like that. The Front Range is definitely transforming. In that regard, but otherwise, man, I'm just so grateful to have you two, and it's just hard not to be around you guys for a long time. So it was really lovely seeing you too, and we grabbed some tacos and hung out, and I think it was the first time we'd all been in the same space physically since like, what was it, 2018? Yeah, and we're recording this in 2022 right now. So
yeah.
How crazy is that? Like to really stop and think about that.
Yeah.
It sucks. It
does. Hey, look, text message threads are only so good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
People ask about our podcast, and I think I tell people our podcasts are a way for the three of us to hang out and see each other visually on our computer screens and spend time just encouraging each other and reliving stories. And then the rest of it is just letting people listen in. So
exactly. It's secondary. Yeah. Secondary that you guys get to listen. Yeah, for sure. Without a doubt. Well,
we don't care about you guys.
We love y'all.
No, I also, we've actually gotten an influx. I don't know if our podcast got some promotion or something, but we had an influx of people writing in the past week, checking in like, hey, I noticed you haven't released anything since November. Is there going to be more? And we actually had Caden, 11-year-old Caden, write in.
Caden.
He had written in a little while ago to say hey, and he checked in this week just to make sure we were going to be doing more podcast episodes, because he said he's starting to re-listen to everything. So here you go, Caden. Here's your new episode, and we're so stoked that you're listening to us.
This one's
Can I tell you how cool that is? Like I was telling you guys earlier, my son is 11. He's about to be 12. That would be like him emailing his favorite, I don't know, YouTubers, and he would just lose his mind if they had a response. And the fact that there's an 11-year-old Caden, so thankful that he's listening and you're listening, man. And man, thanks so much for the encouraging words, bro.
For real. That's awesome. I'm trying to think when I was 11, like, what did I like? I don't even know what I liked, but I wouldn't have had the guts to like write somebody or like, or email somebody. So that's pretty awesome, Caden. Thanks for doing that. Keep that initiative up, because people, will respond. So this is proof right now. So yeah, we're back, and let's talk some storms.
Yes.
Fellas, Central Texas has had quite the early spring. So every single year, there's this cycle coming out of winter where weather people on Twitter and the news, they start to kind of put out their forecasts or their long-range forecasts of what they believe the season will be like. And I think about that a lot in terms of, I appreciate the effort, and it's interesting to always read that, but it never seems to hit, and so it's always unexpected. We don't know what's going to happen.
Calling you guys out right now.
I mean, long-term forecasting is what it is.
Take it with a grain of salt.
But I don't think, anyone saw what has happened in the last month or so in Central Texas. Two pretty wild events that y'all were on the front lines of capturing amazing footage. Jeff and Gabe, you guys were both together in the car for one of these events. You're in separate cars for the other, but both times, streaming live video to local news, which was really incredible. But yeah, fellas, let's dive into the Granger Round Rock tornado on March 21st. What was that setup like, and how did y'all feel about the day, and how did you get ready for that?
Yeah, we saw this one coming from probably about a week away. We started seeing signs that something big was coming. And sure enough, leading up to it, it remained big in the forecast. And I remember I was actually just looking at some screenshots I have on my computer about the day of, showing the tornado forecast that morning. And I don't know about you, Jeff, but I was freaking out mainly
Yes.
because it included my family. So this is Central Texas does get tornadoes more frequently than a lot of places in the U.S., but not as frequent as North Texas or the places that you consider quote unquote tornado alley. But yeah, there was a pretty significant tornado risk this day, one of the highest that had been here in a long time. And it's a little strange as a storm chaser when you're getting ready to go storm chasing, but you're just hanging out at your house because your house is the target area. It's
Yes.
not a usual feeling for our team because we're so deep into Central Texas. I know that that's pretty commonplace probably for people, storm chasers up in Norman and all those places a little further north, but it was different for us. Luckily here, our neighbor has a storm cellar. So that was good to know that was right across the street. But yeah, just a very different vibe all around on this one.
Yeah, it really was. And I think one of the things that was unique was this was one of the first times, I don't know if it was the first time, but one of the first times, maybe the first time, that together we were streaming for a local news affiliate. And so
Yep.
there was a lot going on that day where we're thinking about our family. It was a moderate risk. It was looking really spicy. The models were saying that there were going to be supercells coming through right where we live. So we're thinking about our families, thinking about our homes, thinking about our friends. And I think one of the things that people may not always know is that when you love severe weather and you storm chase, every human you've ever met texts you and calls you for for advice.
Yes.
And typically our response is, "Hey, can you just watch the news?" Is that a possibility?
I wasn't even chasing with you guys, and people in Central Texas were texting me, and so it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're juggling a lot, but you're also coming to a place where when you start to storm chase, you have to just let a lot of those texts go away. Unfortunately, you just can't. You can only juggle so much, and
Right.
and that day ended up being quite the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no joke. So I remember the forecasts kind of had what we call a string of pearls in terms of supercells. So think of just a line, a singular line where there would be little dots on the line, and those dots on down the line, each would be supercells. This is not a visual medium, and I think I did an okay job at explaining
I
that.
applaud you.
Yeah, I think I did a really good job there. So that was the forecast. And whenever I see that, I'm like, oh, the conditions will need to be really spot on for that to kind of to verify, because that's a tricky place. Storms can start to merge together. They become less discrete, thus less likely to produce a kind of textbook tornadic activity. So, Gabe, you looking at the forecast, you mentioned a little bit that it was in geographically close to home, but also kind of pumped up. Just to get a little technical for a bit, because I know some people like that. What were some of the technicals that you were seeing that were making your eyes pop?
So there's lots of different parameters that you can look at, lots of different tools in the forecast models when you're looking for specifics on a chase day. And one of the things that we like to use as a tool is called the updraft helicity tracks, or UH tracks. And it's one of those things that you can't take as the hard truth, it shows a track here. Oh, let me backtrack a little bit. So what an updraft helicity track is it's showing the path of a rotating thunderstorm, where you have deep rotation in a thunderstorm, which doesn't always mean tornadoes. It can just mean a big hailstorm, but deep rotation in a thunderstorm, and it shows the track that thunderstorm takes through these UH tracks. But obviously when you're looking for tornadic activity, you want a rotating thunderstorm. And so that can often be an indicator of where the forecast models are showing where they think that the best chances of rotating thunderstorms will be. Again, you can't take it as hard truth. It oftentimes between model runs, you're talking about every hour when you get closer to an event, Every hour there's a new forecast run. A lot of times those tracks can flip flop all over the place. But what caught my attention was that this particular model was showing this track right through the county that I live in. Every single run starting from the night before and all through the next day leading up to the moment we got into our car. And that is remarkably consistent for a forecast model. And that was a bit of a red flag for me, showing this forecast model is intent on bringing this rotating thunderstorm right through our county. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. That's Williamson County is the county that I live in. And that is where Jeff and I intercepted a tornado that day. And it ended up being a very rare long track tornado for this part of the country. It was on the ground for over 35 miles, I believe.
35 miles.
Yeah, it went from the National Weather Service San Antonio forecast area into the Dallas-Fort Worth forecast area. So when you're actually looking up track information from the two offices, National Weather Service San Antonio has part of it, and then you have to go to the National Weather Service Fort Worth to get the other part of it. So it's over 35 miles long, but extremely unusual for this part of the country.
Yeah. Wow.
And what was really interesting about those tracks that we kept looking at was, we've talked a lot about this before, about kind of how we handle storm chasing when it comes to metropolitan areas. And in northern Austin, Round Rock, I don't know if you can classify it metropolitan. It's close enough. It's a highly populated, concentrated area with people. So, and there's major highways. I-35 runs right through it, north south. And we had a lot of folks asking if we were going to go to the Round Rock area near I-35, and we're like, man, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to get caught in traffic. We don't want to get caught in, if a tornado did come into that area, that would be just a horrible place for us to be stuck in. So just kind of our mindset was, when you go a little bit to the east, it's farmlands by and large. I mean, it's a rural area. So there's plenty of houses, but they're not concentrated, right? And the density is not the same, obviously. And so we went about to a town near Granger, which was about, give or take, 10 miles, maybe a little bit less, a little more, to the northeast of Round Rock, which is North Austin. And we wanted to be able to see this tornado come our way with farmland. We want to have good visuals. We don't want to be stuck in the midst of a bunch of traffic. And so 5 o'clock traffic, much less. So, and so that's actually, it's interesting that one of those times where you put a plan in place and the plan paid off. And so I remember the news affiliate that we were storm chasing for, they caught this tornado land right across I-35 in Round Rock, just a very dangerous area, on live TV. And we're doing the best we can to track information, getting information from the meteorologist, trying to get information from Twitter. And we see this thing on this traffic cam and realize, okay, the day has started. This is real.
Yeah. Let's talk about that moment though, because we were trying to navigate between the storms to the south on the string of pearls that Jeremy talked about. There were storms to the south that looked really great on radar. The storms in the middle that looked kind of messy. And then the storms to the north that were had just gone tornado warned. And so we're kind of eyeing the middle right now at this point. And I was leaning heavily towards going south because it just looked really great. And we're actually driving south. And as we're driving south, Jeff looks to the middle of this line of storms, and we can see the Round Rock storm way off in the distance. But Jeff catches a view of the base, and it actually is looking good visually. On radar. It looks awful. And so he convinced me to slow down our southern drive. And so I pull off, and we pulled up on this hill overlooking, Round Rock off in the distance. I think it was probably 8 to 10 miles away.
Yeah.
But definitely a clear view of the base of the storm at that distance. And sure enough, a really great base of the storm, the region that's the updraft of the storm. And that's where you would see a tornado. It was kind of starting to get a bit of rain wrapped around the backside of it, so it was blocking our view a little bit. But Jeff, because we were live streaming for the news, had a stream of the broadcast going, and they caught on a webcam, on a traffic cam, the beginning of the tornado before it even went tornado warned. Mm-hmm. And this is not a knock on the National Weather Service, because what happened was you have a Doppler radar, and inside, you've probably seen pictures of it. It looks like a giant golf ball on top of sticks. And inside of that, there's the radar that's rotating 360 degrees and just going around in a circle over and over and over. But it takes time for that one 360 degree circle to be completed. In that time, in between radar scans, this storm went crazy. And that's when it immediately dropped a tornado. Didn't give the National Weather Service time to warn it. Luckily, this news station, and we're gonna name them KXAN. You guys did awesome.
Amazing.
They caught it on a traffic cam before it was warned, got the warning out to everyone that was watching, and got the warning out to us, because we were trying to figure out which storm to go after. And as soon as we heard that, we got back on the main road, did a quick U-turn, and blasted to intercept this thing, and it ended up being one of the craziest intercepts we've ever had.
Okay.
We got a confirmed tornado.
Let me see.
Round rock.
Switcher.
Round rock.
Move out of the way. Look to the right.
Tornado on the ground right now in Round
Moving over
Rock.
I-35.
And 45.
Okay.
35 meets 45 toll.
This is live from Round Rock on our Whittlesey camera. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground.
Take down the banner, please.
Moving across I-35. This is evening rush hour traffic. There are people on those flyovers. There are people on the interstate below. You can see a lot of brake lights as they see what we're seeing. Let's not move off this camera. There's flying debris on the 45 flyover in Round Rock.
It's just incredible, the kind of the synthesis of like the information that y'all were intaking, and that it really does take to inform a population, right? It takes, traffic cams, on-air meteorologists, it takes storm chasers on the ground. It takes, even just like tweets, like even though, you need to sift them for accuracy, but radar.
National Weather Service was going crazy. I mean, everything blew up all at once. And like Jeff mentioned, this was at rush hour. So you have a tornado dropping on a major interstate intersection. There were two interstates that intersected, and it went right over that.
Yeah, it's a flyover. It's like a double flyover. So we're talking about a significant situation
at rush hour.
Gnarly. Wow. Okay. So talk to me a little bit more about, because, I know there's been the desire in our storm chasing group to stream, and some people do it, really well and have done it really well over the years, but this being kind of a new experience, and Jeff, you holding, the streaming camera, and trying to get in the right position and get good footage and respond to the meteorologist in your ear. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I would say it was complicated at first, because the meteorologists were amazing. It was super clear. Thankful for any shots we could get. And I think what happened was, there we are about, at this point, like Gabe said, 6, 7, 8 miles away from where this tornado was on the ground. And from our visual, the wall cloud was massive. Mm-hmm. And it was really hard to figure out, is that the whole wall? Is that the wall cloud, or is that the tornado? It's like trying to make sense of a lot of things. And so I have this iPhone that is the streaming device for this news affiliate for KXAN. And I reach over, I got to laugh at this, because my hands are shaking a little bit, because you have to understand, we're used to videoing tornadoes. So we're used to like having our cameras, videoing things, pulling our video together, and that's what we put on YouTube. This was different, because I'm trying my best to like zoom in on this camera and show what I believe is the tornado. And as I zoom in, every little movement to my left matters a lot. And so I'm in the passenger seat. Gabe is driving, and 3 or 4 times. I'm just going to leave it at that. It could have been more. I moved that camera just a little bit over to where it's like a close up view of Gabe's mustache.
It was a beautiful mustache silhouette
Tornado situation
with a tornado in the background.
Yeah. Have you ever had a mustache with a tornado in the background? Well, we have. And I kept seeing that. I was like, oh my gosh, I would look up at the camera because I'm also looking at my own camera, trying to get some shots the best I can. And then I just gave up on the whole situation. I started giving my full attention to the live stream, but I kept looking up and seeing Gabe's face. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, KXAN, that all the viewership, thousands of viewers are looking at a close up of his mustache.
Oh my gosh.
But we did, we captured that, and that thing, I got to say, man, we positioned ourselves in a place that was really fortunate in terms of storm chasing, because that tornado was coming directly at us.
We're making our turn to go north, and then we're going to face it here. It looks like it's either, oh my gosh. It's got to be on the ground. That's a large tornado, Dave.
Yeah, we've got a confirmed tornado on the ground over Hutto, heading near Taylor, moving at northeast at 45 miles per hour.
Jeff, keep going.
Large tornado on the ground.
Is that it that we're looking at right there?
That's it. It's trying to condense fully, but it's been on the ground off and on the entire time.
Okay, and we're dealing with a little bit of a reception issue. We got your video back now. Jeff Mangum and his crew with Tornado Trackers on Twitter. They're local residents. They are always in the right place at the right time to see the weather as it rolls through.
I mean, I'm looking at an image of it right now from y'all's footage, and it is a monster. And y'all are in this there's this position where you've got like the white clouds behind, like the white gray clouds behind the tornado, and in front is just the darkness of the supercell. And it's just this really gorgeous, scary, ominous, awe-inspiring image. And y'all were right there, not only capturing beautiful 4K, but streaming to, I don't know, I mean, millions of people. I don't know the exact numbers of who were watching, but incredible stuff, incredible stuff. And we'll post that YouTube link in our show notes as always, because you want to check it out. It's a 2-minute 40 video. You don't have any excuse not to watch it.
That's right.
It's amazing. And I mean, I was just like in awe of watching you guys be in the right place, alert the public. It was just beautiful storm chasing, just really amazing work on your guys' part. So well done.
There was one error though. So
okay.
In getting into position to be able to film what we did, as Jeff mentioned, it was coming right towards us. It's not always the best place to be. My intention as the driver was to get to just south of where it was going to go across the road in front of us. And so I'm watching the radar very closely and analyzing it, and where we are in relation to the storm and the rotation. But also, because we have a visual now, checking out the tornado myself. And there was a moment where the radar was telling me that we needed to go further north, and I was looking out my window and I was like, nah, it looks like we've gone too far north. And what I didn't understand was that I was looking at outdated radar imagery because the radar had just gone out. And the radar site that went out is notorious for going out. If it hears that there's rain in the forecast, it will go out.
Goes out.
Every time. And I'm sure there are storm chasers listening who know exactly which radar site I'm talking about.
Should we call it out? Which site is it? It is KGRK.
Yeah. Oh, KGRK. So it went out, and I should have expected it to, but in the chaos of the moment, I didn't realize that, 5 minutes of lost radar data makes a big difference. And so luckily I knew enough, looking at it visually, I could read the sky well enough to know, like, oh shoot, I need to stop. I think we've gone too far. And so I just put my phone away. At that point, it was just let's chase this by eyesight. And sure enough, it was coming right for us. And so there was a moment where I knew we had time to watch it come at us a little bit just to make sure we knew which direction it was going to cross the road. And we figured it out. Hey, Jeff. Jeff, we're going to scoot up to it, okay? Okay. Let's hop in. We're going to go. We're going to go. This is large.
It's a very, very large tornado.
Wow. Holy cow. That's when everyone, there was one other storm chaser right by us, Aaron J. Jack. The guy's a beast. He's a great storm chaser. He had a 360 video going on top of his car. So you guys should check that out too.
It's so good.
It's really great. And you can actually turn the camera around and see us in black Subaru. Yeah, definitely check out. Yeah, we'll put a link to it. Aaron J. Jack's footage. It's great. He takes off and I was about to pull out right behind him, but there's this car coming down the road and they slowed way down as they got closer to us because I think they didn't realize which way the tornado was going to go. And I know people give folks a hard time who get caught in tornadoes or like, how could you be driving through this? It's really chaotic. You have a whole chaotic scene going on all around you. It's not, most people are watching videos where it's a very, you get a sliver of reality, of someone's reality watching a video, but there's a whole 360 degree scene of chaos going on. And this car didn't know where to go. And it was preventing us from getting on the road and blasting south like we needed to. Finally, they kind of stopped and I just pulled out in front of them. And I was hoping like, come on guys, you got to follow us. All right, we got to drive south. Watch out. Watch out.
Yes, I can. We are caught in some rain. We're about to go south a little bit to get out of the rain. But this is a significant tornado.
Film it. Film it. Holy crap. Holy crap. I hope that car made it out. And they did. But we had probably 20 seconds to spare to get out of there, which, you count 20 seconds, that goes by pretty quick.
Yeah, it's not much, man. It's not much.
It's not much. It wasn't like we were just about to be overtaken, which I know people are saying like 20 seconds. Yeah, you were about to be overtaken. We had plenty of time to get south and turn around. And as soon as we turn around, roll down the window, and you see the clip in our footage, roll down the window, and there it is. And at that moment that we were blasting south and turned around, the tornado grew in intensity and in size.
Yeah.
It became fully condensed. It grew in size, grew in strength. And there was a huge, we've talked about in previous episodes, rear flank downdraft. And it's winds that come around the backside of a storm and will wrap up into a tornado if there is one there. Huge RFD surge came wrapping around, and we were getting blasted by 80 to 90 mile an hour winds. And actually, if you watch
lawn chairs
and lawn chairs, actually, if you watch Aaron J. Jack's 360 video, you can see that we pull into a driveway of a business, and the business that we're parked right next to is having shingles getting sucked off. And we're not in the tornadic circulation. This is just thunderstorm winds wrapping around the storm, but they are getting fed back into the tornado. And so we had 80, 90 mile an hour winds where we were. Jeff and I were screaming because the tornado was right there. It was really loud. It was that waterfall rushing sound. And the whole time, Jeff's able to live stream this on KXAN. Oh, it's right there. It's
right beside us.
Listen to it.
You can hear the tornado.
On this window.
Large wedge tornado crossing the road.
Debris in the air.
Debris in the air. It is right in front of us. It's not going to hit us. It's moving to our north, but it's crossing the road.
Oh my God.
I hope all these cars are safe.
I'm gonna roll the window up. Hold on, everybody. It's right here. It's right there. We're gonna get our window blown out. Watch for glass.
All right, it's passing over the road right in front of us. We're in the RFD, the rear flank downdraft. The backside winds are significant. We're going to chase it.
That is a large tornado.
Unbelievable, very large wedge tornado.
I think it's the first time that was the first time we've been able to live stream anything to them. Yes. And one of the craziest tornado intercepts we've ever had, because we were only 100 yards away from this massive tornado and not far from home. Yeah. It was a whole thing. There was a whole package of emotions that went into it, because what we didn't mention is during that chase, I had my wife calling me saying, like, do I need to take cover? And I would check the radar and be like, no, you're fine. It's going to go south of where we live. Reassuring Jeff's family that they were fine. We actually had a friend with us in the car, and it went just north of his house, and we had to he was able to tell his family we're all fine. But it was kind of threading the needle there for a little bit. It felt like, with our friends and family.
It's true, because where you and I live, we live about, and I won't get this exactly right, but I would say 17 miles apart, 18 miles apart, something like that when it comes to actual distance. And Round Rock is splitting in between us.
Yep.
So for that tornado to do that, it was threading the needle between our two homes.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was so interesting. Something I want to point out is there's a lot of tornado videos from folks, us and many others, where we do the best we can not to scream and not to yell. And when I say we do the best we can't promise that we won't. But there's many people who like to make comments about storm chasers yelling or screaming. But I'll tell you this, when your window is down and you're 100 yards away from a tornado, you cannot hear yourself think.
Yeah.
And my wife even made a comment going, hey, it sounded like you were really intense. I'm like, I was in a tornado. They are loud. It's like, I think people think it's like you're in some office building documenting a tornado. I was like, no, winds are super loud, man.
Yeah.
So,
well, also with the RFD winds, I thought for sure the back window of my car was going to get blown out. And so that's what I was trying to communicate to our friend in the back seat, but also to Jeff while we're streaming, like, just get ready for glass to blow in on us. And we almost did have the window blown out. A piece of lawn furniture fell out of the sky after the tornado had already moved on. Something fell out of the sky and slammed onto the back of my car and blew off into two pieces as it got bounced off, but managed to keep all the glass.
It did.
Somehow.
Subaru Outback, made for storm chasing, man.
Man.
Absolutely. And yes, people's homes were impacted. And businesses were impacted by these storms. I'm going to throw a plug to my buddy who's a photojournalist, Jordan Vonderhaar. We'll tag some of his Instagram photos because he has a really kind of a incredible set. Especially people were just cooking dinner at the time, and didn't know a tornado was coming. And he has a photo of a cutting board of potatoes that is still just in the kitchen.
Wow.
Sitting there.
Yeah.
And it goes to show you that, right? Like, we felt like, all cylinders were firing in terms of like public notification, right? Local news, good footage, eyes on that were streaming to the news, but still, like, we're as a population, as a storm chasing community, as a meteorological community, still not there yet in terms of, being able to warn everyone in a tornado's path. Pretty sobering. Always like to leave that addendum in there that, yes, people were affected by these storms. Yeah.
And I think this is one, maybe our first real introduction into knowing that our storm chasing was drastically helping people. And I would like to say that that's happened many times before, but when you're live streaming, I mean, it's real time and people are watching and people are listening. And we've had some emails that have just been really encouraging. Just kind of a reminder that, hey, we storm chase because we love to document storms and we love storms, but we love people. I mean, the three of us, that's one of the things that we've gravitated toward each other so much is is we love people. We want people to be safe. We want to help people. And we've had some emails. We had one email of someone who just said thank you because their elderly parents were having dinner right by their dining room window in Granger and had no idea what was going on. And they were watching the live stream. And they ended up calling their parents saying, you need to get into an interior room right now. And as soon as that happened, they got safe, and comes to find out that window had been blown in, and they would have been severely injured, especially in their age. And so there was something super gratifying about knowing that you're getting to do something of your passion and chase storms, but more importantly, you get to help people. And that was one of our first introductions to how live stream actually helped us do that.
Yeah. That was the first opportunity that we had to utilize that live stream capability. Like, we haven't had the ability to do that on a large scale. We've done it on YouTube before, but you get a limited audience, and it's not a targeted audience like with a local news station. And that was it was a really cool thing. Like Jeremy, like you were talking about all the different pieces that go into information dissemination, and that kind of, it was just like all guns firing, all the information coming in. To be a small cog in that wheel of information was really, really cool. And I think, like Jeff said, pretty humbling for us, seeing those messages. We actually got a couple messages to our Tornado Trackers email, thanking us. So yeah,
Man,
it was,
awesome.
It definitely caused us to think about that a little bit more and to dig into that. It was a unique situation for us as a team.
Yeah. Wow.
Agreed.
I mean, in a long time coming, it's been a dream to be able to, provide images like that to local news in the moment. So a lot of years of Jeff, you especially building relationships there, and just awesome. And I hope you guys win some Emmys.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be really
All I know is if that happened, I told a friend of mine, I would walk around with an Emmy literally everywhere I went. Public restrooms, gas stations, all the time, around my neck.
Heck yeah, dude.
That embarrassing person.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Are these your kids? Yeah, but this is my Emmy.
But here's my Emmy. Here's my fourth kid.
You have a separate stroller for your Emmy.
Oh gosh. That is not why we chase.
No, not
Disclaimer.
at all. No, disclaimer, for sure. For sure.
We don't chase for stroller Emmys. Yeah.
Now we get to talk about why I won't get an Emmy for the next storm chase.
Oh my gosh. All right, moving on to the next early spring Central Texas tornado chase. Fellas, number 2. This is pretty epic that there's been 2. We've had a lot of seasons where we've gone out at this time of year, really hoping and praying. It's like so freezing out and, just like, oh, we want to see anything. But y'all have seen 2 really amazing storms. And we're not even in the heart of storm chasing season yet at the time of this record, which is April 21st. So tell me and the listeners about the April 12th Gerald Florence Salado, Texas tornado.
Yeah, this one was an evolving forecast. It was not one that was screaming tornado outbreak like the previous one where we caught the Granger tornado. This one was a little more sneaky, which I think is what caught a lot of people off guard. The previous storm system was well advertised. People were, after school activities had been canceled, people got out of work early, but that wasn't the case for this one. And it was really not until the day of that I think Jeff and I realized that something potentially significant could happen. And I think I was doubting my own forecasting ability that day. Like, maybe I'm seeing something that's not really there, but it seemed like the tornado parameters throughout the day were only getting progressively better, maybe a little stronger than we had previously thought. I won't speak for other forecasters. For us, it seemed like it was growing throughout the day, that potential was growing throughout the day. And sure enough, by the afternoon, there were storms that were starting. They were looking pretty messy coming into the hill country of Central Texas. But I thought, maybe they'll organize a little bit more as they get closer to 35. And so I drove out to Gerald, Texas. Not a very long drive for me. That's maybe 15 minutes up the highway for me. And just parked there, and I could see the anvils off in the distance. But yeah, I had very low expectations, and actually wasn't until I was sitting there that we got word from KXAN, from meteorologist David Yeomans, sent us a text and said, "Hey, they're about to issue a tornado watch," which surprised me. I wasn't expecting it, even though I was watching these tornado parameters ramp up. I again thought I was reading into it too much, but sure enough, a tornado watch was issued not long after, and basically as soon as a tornado watch was issued, those storms that were really struggling really kicked into high gear. And so this was a situation where Jeff and I were not together. Jeff, you had some work obligations that you were tending to, and you couldn't get out until a little bit later. So I went ahead and just went out to catch anything that was early on. And I think you had just gotten on the road when I saw a storm further north near Killeen, Texas, north of Killeen, Texas, start to show signs that it was organizing really well enough that I thought, it's a 35, 45 minute drive. By the time I get there, it could potentially do something. And if not, if anything develops to the south, I'll have time to drop south and catch whatever comes. So I took off, and that took me outside of the viewing area for KXAN. So I wasn't very helpful for them in that moment, but I honestly didn't see anything coming into the KXAN viewing area at that time, and there wasn't anything. But I took off and chased that storm, ended up getting to that one just after a tornado had lifted. So on my way there, tornado dropped. I don't know how long it was on the ground for. I don't even know if they did a damage survey for it. It's very brief in a very rural area. I've only seen one picture of it, really. But by the time I got there, it had died. But by the time I got there, I also realized a really incredible looking storm had blown up out of nowhere to the south. And it was near Gerald, where I had started. And I had just gotten a text from Jeff saying, "Hey, this is looking pretty robust. I'm going to go check it out."
Yeah. And one of the things we talked about in previous podcasts and like the earlier season is one of the methods we'll use, not always, but one of the methods we'll use in storm chasing is we'll try to get into the center to the east as much as possible and see which storms look spiciest, northern ones, southern ones. And I had gotten off work a little late, so I didn't have a choice. Like I couldn't go north with Gabe. And so I had to kind of put that mindset into my action and go, well, I'm going to go a little bit east, honestly, pretty close to Granger, not too far, probably 10 miles, 15 miles south of where we were on the previous chase. And I was just waiting because these storms a little bit to the north were firing off. I'm thinking, well, maybe they're going to keep firing off on the dry line and come straight into the town and through the city again, but nothing did. And I remember far southwest, so we're talking, 70 miles away, there were a couple pop-up storms that kept dying out. And I think I finally clued in, nothing is coming this way. I need to probably look on radar at the southernmost northern, I don't know if that makes sense, but the northern storms, but the southernmost one of that, which was just south of Gabe. I need to see how that looks. And I was on a toll road, and you can drive real fast on that legally. Just so
what's the speed limit? 85?
85. So I felt like I was in good shape to catch up if something was happening. My brother calls me, and he lives not too far from there. He goes, man, he sent me a picture. He goes, I don't know what this is, but is it a funnel? And it was for sure a wall cloud. And I'd already started my journey up on that toll road, and he sends that to me. I'm like, okay, something might happen. And just for context, for our listeners, I'm driving up toward Gerald. We have a whole episode about Gerald. Gerald has one of the most infamous, if not the most infamous tornado in tornado history. The F5 that took place on May 27th, 1997. Sadly, did not only horrible damage, but so many fatalities, 27 fatalities in that small town. So anytime that the news or anyone mentions tornado warning in Gerald, you have to understand that the anxiety is extremely high. In fact, I know that KXAN and other affiliates, they hesitate to even say Gerald with tornado warning unless it's necessary, right? Or tornado watch. So I'm driving up towards Gerald, and I noticed in the distance there's this really, like Gabe said, robust wall cloud that from my vantage point about 6 or 7 miles away is just rotating, and you could just see the change of the features of it so drastically. And I end up on I-35, the beloved I-35 during rush hour. So there we are again. And I pull up and I look over to my left and I see this tornado on the ground. And boy, did that surprise me. So I made a text to our buddies at the news station and said, hey, y'all need to get me on live right now.
We have our storm chaser, Jeff Mangum, on the phone with us. Jeff.
There's a tornado on the ground, David.
Jeff, where are you? Are you looking westward?
I'm on I-35, right at the exit 275, looking at Florence, and it is on the ground. Can you see it?
Sean, Deja Vu, can you please open NWS chat and give them confirmation from our chaser? Okay. Jeff?
I'll get a better view here in a second, but...
man, you are always in the right spot. Please be careful as you're driving.
Absolutely. I'm just pulling over here, but it has been on the ground, I would say, for about 3 or 4 minutes. It's actually becoming quite big.
And sure enough, I had that live stream going, and so we have 2 live streams within 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's amazing.
In the Austin area, which is bizarre. We just don't get that. We're not in Dallas. We're not in Kansas. We're not in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Austin has a way of killing off tornadic storms. And for this to be happening is really rare. And so they get me live immediately. And it was so surreal because I pulled over to the side of the road on the access road. And there's a shot that I remember intentionally trying to get where the water tower for Gerald is there. And those who remember the tornado from 97 know that water tower is very infamous just from shots of that previous tornado. And I'm watching this tornado grow in size, and it becomes really, really strong and thicker. And I will say what was interesting, and I have to work through the meteorology of this a little bit, because it was all one big wall cloud, but at one point it looked like there were 2 separate wall clouds. And there was a tornado in that left wall cloud, and there's a funnel coming down the right wall cloud. And we got that on live TV. So and what was good for me for that was it didn't make me feel like I was going crazy, because part of me, if I wanted to tell you guys, hey, I think there was a funnel with a tornado, at least I had some proof that happened. And so man, I'll tell you, I-35 became kind of a bit of a circus. The police did a great job. One of the things I remember about 1997 in Gerald, and just to be clear, this did not hit Gerald. This tornado did not hit Gerald. It was close, 3 or 4 miles away. It hit Florence, went up to Salado, became a high-end EF3, did some horrible damage, lots of injuries. But one of the things I remember about 1997 is they shut off I-35 for about 10 miles. And there was a lot of controversy about that, about, should state troopers be doing that? They're trying to protect people, that tornado coming across the highway. But this happened again. And so it just, everything about that day brought back a lot of memories from 1997.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of that roadblock, so as I'm navigating back south, because I see this storm, now I'm seeing this incredible hook echo on radar, this big ball where the tornado was probably on the ground. And I can see just this really incredible radar image. One of the best looking supercell radar images I've ever seen anywhere, but especially in Central Texas. And also coupled with Jeff's silence on the text thread, I knew without a doubt there was a tornado on the ground, and Jeff is focused on filming it.
Either I have COVID or there's a tornado on the ground. That's the only time I'm super silent.
And so with 35 closed, everyone was trying to get off of different roads, and my access south to the storm, what should have been a 30-minute drive, ended up being way longer, there was no way I was getting to that storm. All my routes were blocked. I ended up going a really kind of circuitous way, going way east and dropping down on this country road way to the east. I lost visual on the storm going that far east, but it was the only way I could get down south and then try to cut back west to it. Long story short, I missed the entire thing. But Jeff did an amazing job documenting it. And again, it was another situation where we had the opportunity as a team to provide imagery to the local news and to show people like, hey, this is a legitimate concern. Like, this isn't a false alarm. Your phone isn't just going off for no reason. There's a real tornado, a big tornado.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff, can you tell, you got a lot of experience chasing these things in Texas and in the plains. Is that sort of a rain-wrapped base that we're looking at?
So it's actually really hard to tell. It's dropped down 2 tornadoes since I've been watching. Here's another one coming down now. You see it?
Wow.
So it's definitely on the ground, causing some damage somewhere. I don't know if that's just farmland. There's a heavy police presence around here, so that's really good.
Okay,
but the entire wall cloud is spinning so rapidly. You can see it from here.
Can we double box this real quick with the radar? It looks like this is crossing now from Williamson into Bell County.
Second funnel on the right. There's 2 wall clouds. There's a tornado on the ground on the left, and there's a small funnel trying to come down on the right side. I don't know if you can see it.
It was really cool. It was a tough loss. I was a sad Gabe that afternoon and the following week.
We love team, but individually, we love seeing tornadoes.
Yeah. But I genuinely found so much excitement knowing that Jeff documented it well, got the warning out. He was in the right place at the right time, and it was broadcast on live TV and got the warning out. Like that's a win for our team. And so it was a win for me too. And I ended up getting to meet a senior in high school after I had dropped south and got back ahead of the storm. The tornado had lifted, but the storm was coming towards me, so I just hung with it. And while I'm sitting there on the side of the road, this senior from high school got out of his car and introduced himself to me. His name was Tim. Tim got out of his car and introduced himself to me, and he was so excited and came up to me. He's like, "Did you see that tornado?" I was like, "Nah, I missed it, man." I really didn't want to talk about it in the moment.
Shut up, Tim.
Yeah, get back in your car, Tim. No. It was great. And he was like, "Oh, well, I got some pictures on my phone." I was like, "Oh, cool. Can I see?" And he showed me, and he was all excited. And he said, "I'm actually enrolled in the meteorology program at A&M for next year." I was like, "Oh, no way. That's so cool." I was like, "Was this your first tornado?" And he said, "Yes."
Nice.
And that immediately, it made up for some of the loss of missing it, but it was a really cool moment to be able to celebrate with this high schooler who, this is his future career, and to see something like this in person. I will always remember my first tornado. We have an episode where I talk about it. It's just an incredible moment to dream about something for so long and then to see it in person. Yeah. But also to know that this kid, he's already set his path forward in meteorology. Like, that was really cool to be able to share that with him. And then in that moment, I was like, "Oh man, well, here's what's going on right in front of us," and got to kind of show him some of the anatomy of the supercell that was coming towards us. And he was just like wide-eyed, taking it all in. It was a really cool moment, and it felt like, I was supposed to be there at that time. Yeah. It was really cool. So Tim, if you're listening, I don't know if you found our podcast yet. It was really great meeting you, man. And we wish you the best of luck. So excited you got to see that tornado, and hope you get to see many more in your career.
Heck yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. That's just really, y'all just painted this picture, of both storms, but this storm in particular, right? It's this beautiful spectacle. Yes, damage and injuries did occur. Yes, it did occur in a place with a dark past, but then there's, hope. And then there's the future of, this science and that's just what the mixture, the milieu, if you want to use a fancy word, that we live in as storm chasers and weather enjoyers and enthusiasts is, it's all that combined. It's not just one thing. It's everything. And if you're listening to this, you probably understand that as well. So just really well told, fellas. And yeah, great job, Jeff. And great job, Gabe, too.
Yeah.
Teamwork. Great conversation. Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. That was a little mean. I'm not that guy.
No, it's for real.
Guy.
Dude, Jeff, yeah, amazing work.
Well, no, I will say, the last thing I will say about all that is it's really amazing if you look over our last 7-8 years, how many tornadoes we've come across that are due to the fact that our life circumstances held us back. Mm-hmm. So does that make sense? Like there's times where we've had responsibilities with family. We get in the car, we go as the best we can, and then we get somewhere just in the nick of time. Like that just shows like, man, it's at one point we're doing the best we can to forecast. And sometimes you're just kind of dealt with the cards that life deals with, and you just do the best you can, and it works. And so,
and when Jeff says we, he means him.
Seriously, dude.
Because that is Jeff's default.
It's like my weird default.
Just roll it up on the event as it happens.
Yeah. When people say, how do you go? I'm like, well, it's not my meteorology skills. It's not my science. It's my work kept me an hour late.
Seriously.
Oh, I love it.
You're some like environmental activator. Just you have
your presence, your aura.
Yeah, truly. Awesome.
I do want to, just a quick insert for Granger. The crazy thing about the Round Rock to Granger tornado, long track tornado on the ground for over 35 miles through highly populated areas, 0 fatalities.
Wow. 0.
Wow.
That's incredible. Like that's mind blowing that happened. Several injuries. Most were minor though. Which is also crazy. I mean, I saw people posting on Instagram that they were in the shopping plaza in Round Rock where the tornado went through and they got dragged across the parking lot, like out of their car.
Yep.
And only minor injuries, scratches and bruises. Like that's insane. And I think it's a success story to everyone involved in the warning process. Yeah. And that one, it took a team, everyone from government agencies, the National Weather Service, to local news stations, not just KXAN, everybody that day, and all the chasers and spotters. Really, really crazy success story.
It's so true.
Man.
So happy about that.
Crazy. A really great episode, fellas. We had a lot to talk about. It was a very beefy episode for our grand return back. It feels very good to be behind these microphones again with you guys. And we're about to enter into peak storm chasing season. And so be patient with us. We'll try our best to get episodes out, but this is our busy season. If we have a long pause in the future, again, we'll maybe put out like a little message out on the feed to let you know, because life happens, you know. So this has been a great episode, and if you don't hear from us on your podcast feed, check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/tornado trackers, youtube.com/tornado trackers. We're on Instagram. Our website is tornadotrackers.org. ORG, that's right. You can find info about us on all of those platforms. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell somebody that you know about this podcast. It's a really fun community that we're building out here of weather enthusiasts, and we're just excited to be a part of it. So we will catch you when we catch you. See ya.